Crews in the Gulf of Mexico say they have successfully inserted a mile-long tube into that ruptured oil pipe, and it's primary week in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Arkansas. How angry are the voters? You're in the CNN newsroom where the news unfolds live this Sunday, May 16th. I'm Frederica Whitfield. We begin with breaking news from the Gulf of Mexico. Crews trying to stop the oil leak say they have successfully inserted a tube into that leaking oil pipe. It's not a major breakthrough in and of itself, but it is some progress. CNN's David Mattingly is standing by in New Orleans with more on this. David.
This is the first step forward, Frederica, where we can actually say that the amount of oil leaking into the Gulf of Mexico could be slowing down. What BP tells us is that last night they successfully inserted that tube that they were going to use to siphon that oil up to a containment vessel on the surface. During the testing, that became dislodged. They said that was a disappointment, but they were able to successfully reinsert that tube. It's not clear if that tube is operational at this moment, but they were successfully able to test this and make sure that the theory that they have does work. So we're waiting to find out soon if this is working right now, if it is truly pumping oil out of the pipe and into the waiting containment vessel. If so, that is a big step forward in keeping more oil from spilling into the Gulf of Mexico.
And so, David, how much can that containment ship actually hold?
Well, it holds thousands and thousands of barrels of oil. What we're looking at right now, the big question is how much of that oil leaking out of the pipe are they actually going to be able to contain? They've said that it will contain some of that oil that's leaking into the Gulf of Mexico. In the past, when they were trying that big containment dome that failed, they were hoping to collect 80 to 85% of the oil that's leaking. But with this insertion tube, they haven't given us a figure yet, and they weren't giving us a figure during this entire operation. So that's one of the big questions now. Okay, you've had some success. Is it operational? And just how much of this oil that's leaking into the Gulf are you actually able to collect?
All right, David Mattingly, thanks so much, and hopefully we will hear some of the answers to some of those questions at 2:30 Eastern Time. We understand BP has scheduled a news conference for that hour. Just under 30 minutes from now, we'll carry it live as it happens. All right, weather, well, it's not cooperating with the efforts in the Gulf today. Let's get right to Karen McGinnis in the Weather Center. It is nasty. When we talk about rain, that downpour along the Louisiana coast, we mean it in a big way.
Yes, and those rainfall rates can be between 1 and 2 inches per hour. And what we're looking at right now, a pretty good squall line moving right across the Gulf Coast region. And this deluge has produced a flood advisory in a number of these areas. Winds today along the coast. Now, you have to remember, they shift throughout the day. Land breeze, sea breeze, but generally the winds have been trending from the south and southeast. However, this frontal system is not going to move a whole lot over the next several days. We'll start to see the wind shift as an area of high pressure over the Atlantic shifts a little bit more as well. So those winds are going to be more out of the west-southwest over the next 24 to 48 hours, but they'll be a little bit lighter. So it looks like, Fred, we're expecting that maybe with that more westward shift that it could push it a little bit further over towards the Mississippi side, but the winds aren't going to be as strong. But we're also looking at in the next 3 to 4 days, those winds will be out of the northeast, pushing it away from the coast. So that would be the good news.
Okay, good. Thanks so much, Karen McGinnis. Appreciate it. All right, well, some celebrities, by the way, are lending their talents to help the fishing industry that is threatened by this oil spill. They're actually holding a benefit concert in New Orleans today, and in about 10 minutes, we'll take you there live and hear from Big Sam's Funky Nation and why they have gotten involved.